Hey everyone, I'm Colette and welcome to my channel. And today I just want to catch you up on what my life as a witch has been like the last few months. I hope you enjoy. As a witch, I tend to mark my year both seasonally and by pagan holidays, and I start working with them whenever I feel the energy building for that season or holiday. So not too long before Samhain, I was feeling the energy and I went out to the local pumpkin patch with a friend to get some pumpkins. I like to get the really tiny orange ones for decoration and gifts, and white ones for the ancestors and gifts as well. I was so happy I found these really cute little tiny white pumpkins that were smaller than any I've ever seen before. And I put them in on my ancestor altar and also put a few in gift bags for my neighbors. I walk in the local cemetery a lot. It's actually a very popular place where I live, but I wanted to make a special trip with a witch friend as we were approaching Samhain and just take a moment to thank the earth and the local spirits for holding the space for a lot of composting work that I've done in that cemetery over the past couple of years. So I made an offering of water as I entered the cemetery. We also ran into this really cool mushroom circle there. I work with the mycelial net, which is what is below the mushrooms, just under the surface of the ground, a lot. I find it a really nice way to send out magical energy, to communicate with the soil and the trees in the region, and also to get information about what's going on locally. And so when I saw that circle, I also wanted to let them know how appreciative I was of the work that I've been able to do in this place. I'm usually a really big hiker, but ever since I started doing YouTube a few years back, I just haven't been able to get out as much. But I was able to get out to a nearby patch of wilderness nearby with a friend and do a hike. The mushrooms are everywhere this time of year because we haven't had a frost yet. And it was really amazing to see so many. At this time of year, I also like to do a lot more kitchen witchery. And so of course, I like to throw edible mushrooms in my food. I feel like they help ground me into the dark half of the year and help me communicate more easily with the underworld. My local farmers market is still happening, and I love getting local produce, especially since for kitchen witchery, it's all about connecting with the vital force and magic of the plants, which is so much easier when they're fresh from local farms. This time of year, I start making big batches of soup to freeze, and as I'm making it, I tend to stir in an intention. Usually it has something to do with supporting my health as we approach the winter months. I might say something like, may the earth that grew these plants give me a strong immune foundation. May this food I add bring vitality to my blood and bones, and then I stir that in clockwise. And of course I do the same thing with any herbs I'm adding in. I'll hold them in my hand, rub them maybe a little bit back and forth between my two hands just to wake them up a little bit, and ask them for any particular properties that they hold to be infused into my food. I drink way more tea as the weather starts to cool down, and so at this time of year I like to switch out what I'm using in my teas. So I'll add a pinch of dandelion roots to some spicy warming blends, or maybe just add some dandelion root in with some chai tea bags. And I do that because dandelion is such a survivor plant and it's incredibly nutritious, but the flavor isn't the best, which is why I added it to some nice winter warming herbs like cinnamon and ginger. I feel like together those things help me stay protected magically and physically through the winter months. And then as I brew the tea, I might hold the cup and say something like, herbs of strength and warmth. I ask you to help my immunity and body be strong and whole. The last of the leaves are starting to come down now, but I've had a really great autumn picking up leaves, and they've been really colorful here in the Pacific Northwest. So I feel like I can add color magic as well as seasonal support for my altars. Right now, they're mostly filling up my baskets and spread out over my work table, which is a total mess. I'll take any leaf I find that draws my eye, but I especially like oak for protection, abundance and health, walnut to bring in beneficial beings, which is just my personal take, and maple leaves because I think they have a very sweet energy to them and they're large enough to write spell intentions on. I'm also in a flurry of trying to get posters out about my school witchcraft program. It was really fun to go around to all the witch stores and put flyers up. And there was one store I went to that was a ways out of town and they didn't have a bulletin board. And I was kind of like, oh, why did I come out here? They did have a great Halloween display for Samhain, and they had this beautiful Oak King plaque. I've been looking for one for a while, so I was really excited to see it and got it. I cleared it and placed it on my work table and buried it in the leaves just to give it a little space to settle in before I put it up on the wall. I'm old enough at this point that I don't buy a lot of stuff, so this was a pretty fantastic find. And the big event this fall was, of course, the Samhain rituals, small and large. I was really happy with the school Samhain ritual that we did this year, but now my energy is starting to turn towards Solstice and Yule energy. It's not quite there yet, but I can start to feel it moving in. And every year we have a Green Man dinner at the school, so I'm getting all geared up and excited for that. I'm checking out places where I can gather fallen evergreens to decorate the hall, thinking about recipes, and just before the solstice, I like to also gather greens for myself. And I put them around the house to offer shelter to any nature spirits that need them over the winter months. I've heard that you need to remove and burn those greens that you brought in for shelter before in bulk, or else the nature spirits start to get restless and can cause problems. But I haven't had issues with that myself. Those of you who saw my summer vlog might remember that I started making friends and offerings with a couple local pools of water and the spirits that are around them. And they're a very short walk from my house. They're a little bit less than 2 miles. And so I've been continuing to do that and checking in. And I feel like one of the really helpful practices of a witch is to just return to specific places where there's a little bit of nature frequently and check in with what's happening there. And it's amazing to me, even though I've been practicing witchcraft a long time, how much the magical energy shifts, as well as, of course, the seasonal changes that I see. And I just wanted to put in a little promo for myself. If you live within commuting distance of Portland and you're looking for an in-depth in-person witchcraft program that goes deep into the foundations of the craft, you should check out my website, and I'll link that in the description. I don't make blogs very often, but I find them a really fun way to share some of my more personal witchcraft with all of you, so be sure and let me know in the comments if you like them. And until next time, stay safe and be well.